Now, I am a huge fan of the anime/manga One Piece. The story is amazing, the characters are all very well developed, and the world is huge and creative. However, like every shonen anime, it has its own insane overpowered power-ups. In this story, people gain powers from something called a devil fruit. But what is a devil fruit? Well, it's a mythical fruit that exists in the world, that when eaten, it will give the user a certain ability, at the cost of never being able to swim, as seawater weakens devil fruit users. The powers of the fruit can range. Some will give you amazing power, such as the power to control fire at will, turn into a phoenix, or move at the speed of light, where others are more simple, and granting the power to stretch your arms, or become a candleman. For this list, I won't just be looking at how strong the fruit is itself, but how each user utilizes this fruit. And yes, before you ask, I will be making a top 20 strongest non-devil fruit list. I just didn't think it would be really fair to place a swordsman in the same list as someone with the power to destroy the entire freaking world. Also, this is a completely biased list of who I personally think are the strongest in the One Piece franchise, and this is all my opinion, so without any longer, let's get started. Number 20, Gecko Moria. Moria is one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Well, he was, and made his first appearance during the Thriller Bark arc. He ate the Shadow fruit, which allows him to steal someone's shadow and places it into another body, and turns it into a zombie, to act as his subordinate.
ジジイ様の声がしたんだけど、いるじゃん、コクピット。なんだ、俺の腹コクピットなのか。おい、よくできてんな、これ。俺も乗ってみて。
He can also steal shadows to boost up his own powers and become stronger. He is often smart and strategic in battle, but barely makes the list just because of how weak he is. He has potentially one of the strongest fruits, but he relies too much on other people's powers, and still has not mastered his devil fruit ability. How during his own arc, he kept running away from Luffy, and when he did actually fight him, he was still challenged, granted, but he was defeated much more easily than other opponents in the series. During the War of the Best, he was still easily defeated with simple punches and presumed dead. However, I honestly did like this character, and I hope we can make a return in the future. Number 19, Rob Lucci. Out of many of the lists I've seen on YouTube, no one seems to mention Rob Lucci, which is a shame. Lucci is the head of the government server CP9, operating undercover to obtain the Pluton blueprints from Iceberg and end the pirate era. To this day, he's still my all-time favourite One Piece villain. He ate the Neco fruit, which allows him to turn into a leopard to gain more strength or power. But that's not the reason why he's on here. Despite having one of the most best fights in the series with Luffy, in which he almost killed him, he's incredibly intelligent and has mastered the ability known as Rokishiki, which gives him superhuman strength and abilities such as the ability to use Soro, which allows for quick movement, finger gun, Tekai, where the body becomes as hard as steel, and during the fight with Luffy, reveals his secret technique, known as Rokugan. To this day, Lucci is the only villain that has nearly killed Luffy and made him use every ounce of energy to defeat him, resulting in the best battles of the show. Number 18, Kid. Kid is one of the 11 supernovas, with a bounty over 100 million when the Straw Hats first arrived at Shahabondi, and his bounty far exceeds Luffy, as he is responsible in the casualties of many civilians. Despite not knowing what fruit Kid has eaten, we can infer it's some kind of medicine fruit, as he can attract metal objects towards him, and also repels things such as cannibals and other metal objects. Not much is really known about Kid so far, but he definitely possesses a strong fruit and seems very intelligent. Number 17. Caesar Clown. Now, here many people may disagree with me, but I honestly really like this character, and he's there with fruit. Caesar appeared in one of the most recent arcs, Punch Hazard. Caesar Clown is a scientist, and mad does not justify this guy. More like complete bastard child with evil fucking laugh. He has the gas fruit, which allows him to become gas and control and turn into gas. I like his fighting ability, just because it's unique and clever, and which is a breath of fresh air and creativity after Fisherman Island art, which was decent. Caesar himself is highly intelligent and twisted, but is also rather weak at times too. Sometimes he's beating Luffy, and other times he's bidding and panicking for his life. Number 16. Smolcher. Smolcher is personally one of my favourite characters of the franchise, and one of the few Marines I actually like. Smolcher is one of the first Devil Fruit users Luffy meets, and is the first Lodia type user, meaning that his body is made of smoke, and physical attacks will not damage it. Despite being very smart and wise, he follows his own rules of justice, and is merciless against pirates, using all his strength to defeat them. Another reason why I like him is that he treats his subordinates with respect, and never betrays them, unlike many Marines in the series. For the first half of the show, Luffy has been completely powerless against him, due to his smoke ability, and is not afraid to fight against the Marines with higher power. However, Smolcher in the recent arc has been getting the shit kicked out of him a lot, but I hope we can see him again in the future. Number 15. Crocodile. Crocodile is my all-time favourite character from the show, and one of the best villains in anime history. As a former warlord of the sea, there was so much mystery around this guy. He was first briefly mentioned during the Whiskey Pete arc as the big boss, and the following arcs would slowly reveal him, building up the tension slowly. This marked the turning point for Luffy, as not only was he close to dying once, but twice he almost died before Crocodile in battle. Crocodile ate the Suna no Mi, which allows him to have total control over sand, and also, like Smolcher, is a Lodia type. Crocodile uses his sand powers to suck the water out of people's bodies, and has a whole army of spies in his secret organization to try and take control of the country of Alabasta. He finally made a return in Impel Down arc, and then returned in the World of Best arc. I hope we can see this character again in the new world. Number 14. Boa Hancock.
どちらか一つを選び、一つを切り捨てよ。
ヘビ姫、お主そこまで。
騙されぬぞ。本性を晒せ男よ。そうか、ありがとう。じゃあこいつら助けてくれるんだよな。
Hancock is one of 7 warlords of the sea, and is Snake Princess of the Island of Women, Amazon Lily. When she was a child, she and her 2 sisters were kept as slaves by the celestial dragons, and holds the grudge against men, aside from Luffy. She ate the Mero fruit, and uses it to turn people into stone, and also her physical attacks seem to turn people into stone as well. During the World of Best, she holds her own against Smolcher, and fights off the pacifistas at the same time, for the downfall of the Straw Hats. She can also use Conqueror's Haki, which is the strongest Haki to use, and only a select few can use them. Bo is a good character, and a strong female character too, in a generally male-dominant world, and I can't wait to see her again, if at all for that matter. Number 13. Finally, we can talk about the main protagonist of the franchise.
全世界を敵に回して生きられると思うなよ。あの女は地の果てまでも追って俺が消し去る。いけない。
possesses one of the weakest devil fruits, the Dum fruit, which allows the body to stretch to great length, and his straw hat was given to him by one of the 4 emperors. Shanks! Pretty cool, eh? Despite being the weakest fruit, Luffy develops his fruit so much and he develops a fighting ability around it. Using his arms to stretch back and hit the opponent acts as his main fighting ability for the first few arcs of the story. But during the Water 7 arc and Enies Lobby arc, he learns a new ability that would become a staple in the franchise and will push his abilities and powers to the full capacity. The first ability is known as Second Gear, and the first time he used it in the series was amazing.
狙い撃ちする気か。避ける隙を与えるだけだ。よく狙って当ててみろ。それ！
And then he uses Gear Third.
言いかけ直すならやめておけ。
ゴムゴムの
でっかい。
During the War of the Best, these powers should only help him so much, as Luffy was thrown into a clash of powers and almost lost his life. After the time skip, Luffy mastered all 3 forms of Hakai, and is now even stronger than ever. Number 12.
やばいぞ。マゼラン所長はあれを。クロロボール。
Personally one of the more unique characters, Magellan is the warden of Impel Down, a giant undersea prison, and has the power of the poison fruit, and became a poison man. He is a Loga type, but at the same time his body is made out of poison, and is deadly to the touch, making it a great battle for Luffy. This is one of the few times where Luffy comes close to dying, and has to endure a painful treatment. Magellan is very strong, and has a frightful ability, even taking down Blackbeard with little effort. But then again, anyone could hit down that bastard. Number 11. Trafalgar Law.
Acto. 何の音だこれ。
Otherwise known as the Surgeon of Death, is a man who after the time skip became one of the 7 warlords of the sea and ate the OP fruit. Get it? Because he's overpowered? Law's ability allows him to create a rune in which he can cut his body parts into smaller pieces without actually killing them. However, Law is also really clever and mysterious too. We never really know what he's really thinking and planning or what he's going to do next, making for a very strong character and a scary opponent. Number 10. Tyrant Buffalo Kuma.
おいさま、喋ってる場合じゃねえよ。早く。
旅行するならどこへ行きたい？
おい、ゾロ！早くここから逃げねえぞ！
He has the ability of the Paw fruit, which allows him to move very fast. Although this may be part of Vegapunk's works, and shoot beams from his hand. He can also shoot laser beams from his mouth, and is somewhat of a cyborg, due to being experimented on by Vegapunk. Back when this guy first appeared, near the end of the Thriller Bark arc, it sent chills down my spine. We knew shit was going down, and oh how did shit fall. When fighting against Straw Hats for the first time, all it took was one blast to knock them all unconscious, aside from Zoro, who desperately tries to fight him, and offers himself as a sacrifice to Truma, which is one of the most iconic and memorable scenes in the entire anime. Kuma then later returns, where he single-handedly defeats all the Straw Hats and sends them to various locations around the world, before also defeating Luffy. However, this is later revealed as protection. Kuma is feared by many pirates around the world, and is now a fully robot with no emotion, without any explanation of why he protected the Straw Hats and their ship, and who he exactly is. Let's just hope we can see more of him in the future, and his backstory with Dragon will undeveloped. Number 9. Fire Fist Ace. Ace is a fan favourite by many, and I can see why. Ace is Luffy's brother, and has the ability to control fire at will after eating the flame fruit, and is the primary focus of the final arc in the first half. Ace's ability allows him to shoot fire from his hands, and is second division commander of the Whitebeards, who, for the record, were once the most strongest pirate crew at the time of Ace's life. And he also had a bounty of 550 million, and he unfortunately meets a sad end at the end of the War of the Best arc. Number 8. God Enel.
話にならん。私の前では何もかもが無力。故に神なり。
Enel is a man who lives on Sky Island, and after eating the Rumble fruit, gains the ability to use thunder at will. This fruit is one of the strongest in the entire series, and it definitely shows it. During the Straw Hats' visit in Sky Island, they come across a war between Enel and the relatives who live on the island that Enel now controls, that once 400 years ago was back on the sea below. Enel treats this like a survival game, to see if he can survive to the end, and he almost kills many of the Straw Hats. However, as Luffy is a rubber man, electricity won't affect him, but he still makes for a formidable enemy. Number 7. Doflamingo.
従順なる部下よ、泣かせるじゃねえか。ベラミ、お前のそういうとこが好きだぜ、俺は。新時代はすぐそこまでやってきている。好きにするがいいさ。ただし、俺の部下にはいらん。ドフラミンゴ!
Now we are getting scary. Doflamingo is one of the 7 warlords of the sea, and probably one of the most frightening of all. Aside from being very intelligent in both scheming and battles, he also has the ability of the string fruit. Not scary, right? With this ability, we can assume that he can control his enemies using the strings like a puppet, and can also cut off body parts. Doflamingo first appeared in the first half of the series, and was treated as a minor character at first, foreshadowing future events, and then appeared during the War of the Best. Now, in the current arc, Doflamingo is the main villain, and we'll hopefully see Luffy fight Flamingo this year. Number 6. Marco the Phoenix.
キングは取れねえだろうよい。
怖いね、白ひげ海賊団。
Marco first appeared during the War of the Best arc, and the first division commander of the Whitebeard pirates. Marco's fruit is totally unknown, but it's some kind of mythical zone type fruit that can transform into a phoenix and can heal wounds with its blue flames when hit. Aside from looking so badass, he's one of the only people to actually stand his ground against the 3 admirals of the Navy, and actually give them a run for their money.
これは効くね。
嘘つけ。
Number 5. Blackbeard.
正義だ悪だと口にするな。この世のどこを探しても答えはねえだろ。くだらねえ。 なんか取り込み中だったようだな。ぜははは。
ティーチ、なぜ貴様がここにおるんじゃ。いや、今は黒ひげと言うべきか。
黒ひげ。
Blackbeard, without a doubt, has the most strongest fruit in the entirety of One Piece. It's Yami Yami no Mi, and basically it's darkness. It can absorb the power of other devil fruit users. It can also pull in items and humans into the darkness. And on top of that, he also has the power of the tremor fruit. And even then, he's one of the 4 emperors. But does that make him strong? Kinda. Aside from having 2 of the most dangerous fruits on his side, his previous battles that he won were gave him a chance. When fighting Ace, he surprised him with his power, and then a battle with Whitebeard, well, the only reason he even won was just because Whitebeard was close to dying already, and all Blackbeard had to do was to finish him off. Hell, even when Whitebeard used his raw strength, he could have easily defeated Blackbeard. Blackbeard, with his ability, also feels more pain too. Blackbeard is a strong enemy, with possession of 2 strong devil fruits, but without those, he would have died a long time ago. Number 4.
Ice Ball!
凍った白ひげが。
やったぞ。
My second favourite of the 3 admirals, we have Akoji, who after eating the ice fruit, gained the ability to control ice at will. Akoji was the first admiral introduced in the series, and is personally one of my favourite admirals, just because he is not a total asshole. He has a lazy, carefree personality, and is often sleeping, but goddamn is he strong. During the War of the Best Arc, we can finally see him showcase all of his powers, and even manages to defeat one of Whitebeard's commanders. He is also one of the few people to defeat Luffy, which would make Luffy realize he is not strong enough and develop more abilities such as Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. Number 3. Kizaru.
そんな時にまさかこんな首を放っておくわけにもいかんでしょう。懸賞金2億4900万、魔術師バジル・ホーキンス。速度は重さ。光の速度で蹴られたことはあるかい？
Kizaru is my favourite of the 3 admirals, and after eating the Pita Pita fruit, gained the ability to move faster than the speed of light, and could also shoot rays of light from his fingertips. He defeated 4 supernovas single-handedly, and then almost killed Zoro. He later appeared in the War of the Best Arc, and had showcased much more of his powers. I love Kizaru, not only for his insanely awesome power, but also his voice too.
そう簡単に 頭取らせてもらえないよね。
Now we're moving on to one of the most hated characters of the One Piece universe. Aitunu, if I pronounce that correctly that is, who is also one of the 3 admirals, and probably one of the most scariest too, as he is one of the only admirals, or hell, people at all, to have a full-on fight with Whitebeard and survive, for God's sake. He has eaten the magma fruit, and it allows his body to become magma. During the War of the Best Arc, he demonstrates his raw power and brute strength, completely destroying everything with its power. He is also the reason why Ace died during the war, but don't worry, he got his just desserts. Number 1. Whitebeard.
麦わら赤犬さん
Whitebeard Beard is considered by many as the strongest person in the whole of One Piece. He has the Tremor Fruit, which has the potential to destroy the entire world, and can even bring tsunamis and earthquakes. As captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, he acts as a father figure to his crew, and fights against the Navy during the War of the Berserk to save Ace from being executed. He is also one of the 4 Emperors too. During the War of the Berserk, Whitebeard demonstrates his true power and potential, and he even defeats many powerful opponents, such as that bastard Eikunu, and he is 72 years old. This man, at the age of fucking 70, managed to stand his ground against 3 admirals, 7 warlords, and the entire fucking Navy. During his final moments, he tells the entire world that One Piece does exist, inspiring the next generation of pirates.
興味はねえが、あの宝を誰かが見つけたとき、世界はひっくり返るのさ。誰かが見つけ出す。その日は必ず来る。ワンピースは実在する。
Do you agree with my list? Who do you think is the strongest? Make sure to subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you guys next time.